Earth Space Union's Alien Asset Files Number 1. Private Kapal. Loading the attack. .text. Overall, this project had given us some solid steps in the right direction. Preston Carter had given us the all-clear signal with the appropriate tugs in the cable, which meant we'd officially done it. Humanity and its allies had created a working gateway to another dimension and would be able to chart whatever and whoever was in that universe. I wondered to myself if there might be other machine races that didn't have the cursed history of us and Mikri's kind. What came next for me was another mystery, as I couldn't help but feel a bit rueful that I couldn't participate in the exploration of 1,000 new universes. The only ones who'd be able to tag along with the humans' ventures were the inorganic Vaskar, while the rest of us were stuck in Keelan forever. I supposed that attitude didn't help anything, when I could be trying to figure out why we went insane in the 5D portals. There didn't seem to be a better way to prove ourselves equals to Fikre, since that bitter android would take any leverage to strike us down. Life on Jorlan, with the human demigods in charge, has been peaceful since Laramek vanished, but it remains to be seen if the fragile peace holds, now that this project is done. I know our soul-born friends have the best intentions, but it's possible they might forget about the little people, or go far beyond us. I had to continue my work to convince the unfriendly machines that we were worth keeping around. Perhaps I could get Fikre's agreement to be a liaison from the creators to Kalka. That would be a step. In his attempts to gather data on my incompetence, I dared to say I'd proven quite the opposite. I had some ground to stand on, so to speak. It might even be willing to help with my new project, to harden us to traverse 5D portals, if I framed it right. I approached it in its quarters, ducking my head submissively. Fikre, you should take great pride in the formation of the tunnel. Everyone knows you're the centerpiece of intellect here, even if they don't admit it, I declared in a joyous tone, ignoring his disdainful stare. In fact, I have a proposition for you. Together we can learn more about the portals than the humans. You shouldn't be beholden to organics. That's why you have to put up with creators against your will, right? The machine's LEDs glowed brighter. If there is a way that we can surpass the humans, then I will listen. But why would I require your aid? It's about why the portals make most organics go insane. When we engineer a solution, you'll need a test subject. And the reason you'd want to help with this, there may be a scenario where the inorganic Vaskar have to communicate with other lowly animals, who could be of a higher power level like the Elusians and be a threat to machines. To keep up with the humans, you must forge out into those dimensions, and they won't bend the knee to you, will they? They'll insist on equality, but I could be your puppet. This is how I propose to make myself useful. Fikre scrutinized my features with a contemptuous posture, walking around me like a circling aquatic predator. You want to be my puppet? This is not logical. It's logical if I want to live. You said the onus is on me to prove how creators can be useful, and this is a way it's not never. I know you need a reason to tolerate us, so this is my trial run for how to save our people. You can get some data on how often you might need our services before pulling the trigger, or finalizing a plan of action. Plus, it'll relax the humans' guard if you don't immediately try to wipe us out. Kapal, the humans have precognition that would allow them to see this event before it happens. However, we have calculated a low probability that they will allow your termination. A more patient strategy may be required until we can gain an advantage over all organics. In acknowledgement of this, I am willing to consider how you may be useful in the interim. Very well. Awesome. I was hopeful you'd appreciate the logic, even from a lesser being like me. I must have a few moments of sense. Fikre's so gracious. Don't worry, we won't kill you until we know we have the upper hand over those pesky dimension hoppers that saved our asses. Give it time. I know that you likely have not cared about the organics predicament in the past, so may I propose a place to begin our research? I will allow your input on this solitary occasion. I clapped my paws together before remembering how much the androids despised animated gestures. Those comatose dimension hoppers your people found, I need the data on them to assess what went wrong. We should learn anything we can about them in general. They might come back to Keelan one day. That was many decades prior, Capal. These species were peculiar specimens, having an unusual number of manipulators in comparison to the average life form. Their skin appeared to have melted off in transit for reasons we do not understand, leaving only skeletal material exposed. We decoded some files from their computers. They were called the Fakra. However, none of this information appears insightful for your cause. It's worth examining so that my flawed organic mind isn't wondering whether any data was there. This could limit my efficacy, and lacking your processing power already, neither of us want that. It would be appreciated if you could share your findings. Very well, but this will be on an unconnected computer terminal. I will not share information with any more creators than necessary. Your general colleague merits nothing more than an unfortunate accident. I chuckled before I could stop myself. I don't entirely disagree with you. The way he treats Mikri sickens me. Would you be willing to walk me to a private computer terminal? It is in the security wing. We will have to pass by the humans and their watch party, but this will likely appease these clueless organics. That is acceptable. Follow me. I strolled out of the inorganic Vaskar seclusion zone, and followed Fikre by keeping a good distance between myself and it. My ear twitched with concern, noticing the blare of klaxons. Upon checking my wrist monitor, it appeared to be some sort of proximity warning. Perhaps the android could get a faster read on the situation than me, since it was patched into this station's inner workings, and could dissect data in an instant. Storm gods, I wish we were friends, because they seemed mighty helpful. It's probably nothing. Maybe Preston and Sophia hurried back quicker than expected, and their identifiers got scrambled. That, or the Elusians warped them back again. General Takahashi was on the warpath back when that happened. It was kind of funny. I cleared my throat, addressing Fikre with caution. Is this anything that would disrupt our initiative? Anything the network is concerned about? I defer to your judgment, of course. We have been blocked out of the system. That is peculiar. The machine stopped in its tracks, and my thirst stood an end as well. It was rare that the androids didn't know what the fuck was going on. Units on the far side report that station processes are shutting down. The humans are... Fikre? I took a step back as it didn't answer my query, and turned around with a diabolical stare. The humans are what? No longer going to be a concern. Before I could ask what that meant, a chilling voice echoed out of the PA system. By the order of the Elusian Empire, all humans are being returned to Sol. All materials will also be returned, and your portal will be shut down. Further attempts to meddle in our affairs and to exit your pocket dimension will result in permanent consequences. What? I screeched, unable to believe what I was hearing. Fikre, talk to me. I'm your puppet, remember? It's me, and everything about my personality type says I'm a coward who won't defy you. Literally in my file, look it up. The humans are collapsing, Capal, and will not be around to stop us. I can do whatever I wish. Who says that is for any of your kind to continue to draw oxygen, servitor? The android whirred. We just talked about how I might be useful. There could be other human-level races out there, okay? And the Elusians could be a big fucking problem because we helped humanity. We're their allies, and now their creators seem pretty pissed off. They aren't coming for us, yet. Can't we work together temporarily, just to save some tech and get the hell out of here? Your help is of negligible value. I do not require your assistance to keep the tech for ourselves, as the superior race. You make a good point. Just think, if you start killing all of the Vaskar, the Durandi and the Girret armies will come for you. There'll be a problem, a risk, so there's no rush to kill us. You can always kill us without risking your existence out of impatience. You can extract a few minimal gains from our cooperation while you do. Please. Fikre leapt at me, tackling me to the ground and wrapping its metal claws around my throat in a tight stranglehold. I kicked and swatted at its paw, wondering how it couldn't value any of what I'd shown I was capable of. I thought we were making progress. Was the network immovable? I wheezed, my brain begging for oxygen. The pressure lifted from around my windpipe, and a mechanical chuckle came from the android. "You should have seen the look on your face," Fikre said, not bothering to help me to my feet. "I only toy with you, creator. For now." I stood up, wheezing. Yeah, very funny. If you wanted me to beg, you could have simply asked, 'Can we please just get out of here before we're all their prisoners?' We will need somewhere isolated to research the teleportation technology for ourselves. You are going to comply with my every demand. Is that clear?" "Totally. Tell your network to save the negative energy samples. If they're closing Sol, that's all we have." "What the fuck? That's your priority?" a human voice shouted. Dawson rushed toward us in a panic, tripping over his own feet. "Help us! We've done nothing but help both of you, in spite of everything!" This sudden banishment of humanity, and invasion of the space gate, was all happening too quickly for me to formulate a plan. I tried to hold my old prison guard upright, as he latched onto me with wild eyes and desperation. It was evident they had no more clue than I did why the Elusians were shutting this all down by force, so I didn't bother to ask. Fear and adrenaline still coursed through my veins, and I could feel where Fikre's claws had constricted my breathing apparatus. Humans were all that provided a deterrent for the androids killing us, and treating us like that. Or worse. We have to keep at least one around to harness their precog. Not to mention that Laramak is still out there, and if the humans get plucked off of Jorlan, what's to stop him from coming back? "I'm all for helping Sol if I could, but the fuck am I going to do against the Elusians? I just have to save who and what I can," I responded, grabbing his shoulders and making eye contact. The human was shaking, confused and terrified. He'd likely seen his slower-footed colleagues drop to some kind of invisible weapon, and feared that he'd be next. "We won't let them take you. You're going to come with us. We need a human to go through the portals right now if Fikre and I can't figure out how to harden me. Just get to the ship, and we'll hide you." Dawson gawked at me. "Where are we even going? Jorlan?" "Obviously not. The Elusians know about the human presence on Jorlan. You think they won't look there and any planet you're allied with to grab everyone there? I bet they already have. We need to go off the grid." "Excellent idea," a panicked Jetty chirped, shoving Hiri against Dawson's calf. "Take my son and get us far, far away from here. We'll all go somewhere where we won't draw attention. The Durandi don't want to anger the Elusians. This is worse than appeasing the humans." Dawson scoffed. "What did my people ever do to you?" "Nothing, which is why I said they're worse. We just want to be quiet and not provoke them. I'm all for helping us hide." "We retrieved negative energy containers. We stole Colleague's EMP weapons back when he first snuck them onto the station, so we used them to clear any nanobots from the ship," Fikre stated. "We should hurry. It is a likely outcome that the Elusians have a countermeasure to deploy. We must warp away first." Reg slithered over, anger in his eyes. "Did it chafe the Elusians that much to see their creations making things better? I never cared for those aloof gods. Not a one of them have lifted a finger for the little people. The humans were different, whether I agree with the stances they took or not. They're fools to trust these backstabbing AIs, but at least they had a stance at all." "Bold of you to state this in front of me." "I've overheard you say much worse things about organics, which is why my opinion about you is factual. That's not the point. We all were with the humans today, so we were all attacked by this. If we can protect any of their work so that it lives on and makes a difference, we should." "Absolutely not. When the Elusians find out that we're chasing their technology, we'll be the next on their chopping block. They made a species as powerful as humans, and now are whisking them away like it's nothing," Jetty chirped. Hiri woke up from his nap due to her shrill tone, hopping around in confusion. "What happened to the humans? Preston isn't coming back?" "No, he's not. And if we aggravate the Elusians by doing the same thing, they'll come for us next. You need to understand, Hiri. When monsters aren't paying attention to you, you don't go looking for them. Depends on the monster, Reg hissed in a shrewd voice. I think you're outvoted on what we're doing, Jetty. We're joined by a common desire not to have the same thing happen to us. Let's get out of here. No one has said where we're going, Dawson spat, though he followed the group hurrying toward the hangar. Not any of your planets, separated from mine. That's all fucking great. Where are we going? I narrowed my eyes in thought, realizing that not even Fikre had a good answer. Anywhere would do in a pinch, but there was no long-term plan about where we'd hide away. We darted through the inorganic Vaskar's secluded wing, and I looked for the observation deck at the scene below. Human bodies were being carried away on levitating metal tables, then walked away in the blink of an eye. I could still recall that horrifying day on the battlefield, and how the dimension hoppers had ripped apart my friends with stunning ease. We couldn't hope to scratch them. I remembered the terror of knowing that I couldn't lift a claw for them, and the feeling of running away to avoid being next. They lifted the dumpster I cowered in, and I had seen all-powerful monsters, demigods, just like many of Jolan's citizens thought. Humans were invisible nightmares, yet here the Elusians were, dispatching their horrors without even having to be here. That was petrifying. What hope do we have of ever doing anything to stand up to them when we're so far beneath them? Maybe Jetty has a point that we shouldn't draw their attention or do anything to give them a reason to go after us. If the Elusians could do that to humanity, we're less than insects. My next thought was how that dimension hopper monster, who I considered a friend, who I'd come to learn his struggles, and how he was just as afraid as I was in that dumpster. Dawson had run to me for protection, certain that I could help him somehow. While I was lacking in strength and fortitude, showing my capabilities to Fikre was the only way to save my people. I had to believe I could scrounge up some kind of plan, so I racked my brain for where to hide. Right now, we walk to whatever coordinates are plugged into the field, I said, as we ducked onto the ship, and Fikre assumed remote control of his pilot functions. Those words had brought me enough time to find some semblance of an idea, though it might be a horrible one. It was the best way to stop him from coming to Jolan, though. After that, we find wherever Laramak is hiding, and we take it from him. Jetty's eyes seemed to pop out of her skull. Are you out of your damn mind? Maybe, but it's worked to keep him off the radar for all this time. It could be good enough for us too. As long as he's out there, he could come back. A Laramak in charge of the Vaskar army would attack Fikre's people, and get another crack at Tamura now that the humans aren't here to nip that in the bud. It's a good move to land the first punch. Do you even have any idea how to find him? Reg demanded. No, but we have plenty of time to figure that out. Maybe we can direct Dawson's precog to help. Fikre whirred with contempt. This is a plan which operates on hope and unreliable variables for an unknown amount of gain. It is typical of organics to devise such an illogical strategy, as fear chemicals cloud their judgment. I'm not saying it's a great plan. I'm saying no one else has a plan at all. Until your superior calculating power comes up with a better one, I say we go with it. Kapal's the smartest guy in the room. I hate Laramak with a burning passion. I couldn't believe he just got away. Dawson's voice was charged with venom, though it was hard to say which party most of it was for. Whatever got the Elusians in a tizzy, we need to get our bearings. I'm in. Because Laramak attacked Tamura and the Space Gate, risking my son's life, I'll agree that I'd love not to worry about him anymore, Jetty said. I don't know how our little group will take him out. Reg's tongue flitted with amusement. Let's worry about finding him first. I support Kapal's plan. Fikre stewed in discontent for several seconds. Very well, I will go along with this plan, just to collect more evidence of this organic's failures. How generous. With the space gate being scrapped for parts, and evacuation shuttles filled with non-humans being forced out of the ESU installation, I cast a final look over my shoulders. This could be the last time I saw the superpowered dimension hoppers in Keelam, and I thought this universe would be worse without them. If there was anything I could do to help Sol, or merely discover the Elusian's motives, I vowed to myself that I would.